On this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make money work for you in this year 2024. Well, should I say an year that is about to start in a week? Depends on when you are watching this video. All right, so let's get into the business, because maybe you've been having some cash in your bank or whatever the savings that you have, and you're asking yourself, okay, fine, where can I channel this money towards a section or an area where I can be able to do something in terms of me getting some baby money, aka passive income. All right, so let's get into the business. But don't forget this, I usually post a video each and every day, so if you don't want to miss any good of my videos, make sure that you hit the subscription button and like this video. All right, let's get into the business. Now, before I even actually explain to you, let me just give you a nitty-gritty of what happens. There are two types of money. Here we have the money, and there are two areas. We have what we call the active way of making money, and we have the passive way of making money. What exactly do I mean? See, when we talk about the active way of making money, this is where your time is involved. You have to be there passionately. You are working, and most of the time we say this is a job. And we talk about the passive. This is where you find like you're doing nothing. You're literally doing nothing, and the money is flowing in. And this is the dream of the most people. And we usually work towards achieving this dream of whereby you can be able to make money that is equivalent from the passive amount of money that you make from this side is equivalent to this. So that money that usually get paid from your job, let's say we call it a salary, that money that usually paid is called an active money. What does it mean? It means that if you're not actively engaged or involved into it, therefore you can't make it. But when you channel your money towards somewhere where it is making you money, passive income, then therefore we say that's a passive income, because you don't need to be there, you don't need to make any calls, you don't need to follow up and all those kind of things, okay? And today we're going to concentrate on this area, okay? Now, this is the point. What are the areas where you can be able to channel that money to make you some cash that is going out there? Depends on whichever the country that you're watching from. There are some of the things that are actually available that you can be able to channel your money towards. Number one, and by the way, we have to categorize people who are actually getting into the investment, and I have to categorize them from category 1, category 2, and category 3. The category 1, I usually say these are the beginners. These are the beginners who do not really know much about investments. And then we have the category 2. This we can call them the mid-range. These are the mid-range people who at least they have ever invested, okay? And then we have the category 3 of the people who we call they are sort of sophisticated, okay? These are people who at least understands what it's investment, okay? Now, for the beginners, for the purposes of the beginners, let's now start with the beginners. For the beginners in this category, we say these are things that you can pick on that are not actually sort of complicated. And this regard, you can be able to start with an MMF. And maybe you wonder like, what's an MMF? I've been talking about this MMF like a million times. Allow me to continue talking about it, because it's an area where you can keep your money. And you are like, do you have an MMF in my country? Because I realize I do have some viewers who are watching from different countries. Yeah, each and every country, they have an MMF. In other words, we usually call it a unit trust. They usually fall under what we call the unit trust. Some people call it mutual fund. Okay, some people call it mutual fund. So you can actually check from your country. So in Kenya, we do have a variety of companies that offer the MMF. I ain't gonna name those companies. You can check my previous videos. I've actually talked much about that. So MMF is an area where you can be able to invest your money. And by the way, if you're watching this from Kenya, you can even invest with less than $1, less than $1, meaning like you can be able to start with 100 Kenyan shillings, okay? 100 Kenyan shillings. So that's amount of money you can be able to channel towards an MMF. You can pick this MMF and channel your money out there. This is one of the simplest areas where you can be able to invest your cash out there. And again, on the beginners, another thing that you can be able to invest on are called the SACCOs. And if maybe you're watching me from far and you don't understand what are SACCOs, these are just sort of a bank, but they were started by different people in a way that they can be able to secure some funding for their businesses. Back then, people were not everyone was able to access the banking services and what have you. So in Kenya, we usually have a very funny, I don't want to call it funny, actually it's a very legal way of investing money in things like SACCOs. Like if it's about the national teachers or all the teachers in Kenya, they have a SACCO where they can be able to keep their money in place of them keeping their money in a bank. And these SACCOs, you can be able to get yourself into, you can get a loan where you can be able to invest your thing and all those kind of things. And by the way, they usually offer way much better rates compared to banks. So if you're watching this from Kenya, kudos, you can invest your money in these SACCOs, and it's not a complicated process. All what you need to do is show up to the SACCO of your choice and then tell them you'd like to open an account. And with SACCOs, they usually have like 3 accounts. We have an account called we have the share capital account, commonly known as the dividend account, and then we have the Bossa account, okay, and then the last one we usually have the Fossa account. This is back office, is another name of this is fixed income or fixed deposit, and then we have the Fossa. This is front office. Front office is just like any other account that is out there. So all this information will be shared with you once you visit that specific circle that you want to invest. So for the beginners, you can start with yourself with an MMF, you can start with yourself with a circle, and then you can progress to the next level. And again, MMF is not a complicated. To open account is free. Same case applies to circles. Well, some circles do say you ought to pay a registration fee. Sometimes it's 1,000 bob or something of sort is around that specific area. So if you're a beginner, you're getting started, maybe, and you're saying 2024 is your year, you want to do something as far as the investment is concerned, hey, pick it up, the one from that list that I provided. All right, so let's get to the point number 2, the mid-range. Now these are mid-range, you know, mid-range people, or where areas, or which areas can you be able to invest to. So if you are a mid-range, meaning at least you know some nitty-gritties as far as the investments are concerned. So mid-range people, we can say from your case, you have things to do with shares, okay, shares aka stocks, depends on who you ask. Now this is an area where you can be able to pick your money and be able to invest as you progress to the next level. So shares or stocks, it's quite a friendly area. And again, I may add something called rates. Also rates falls under this category, because the procedure of buying shares is the same as procedure of investing on rates. Rates, it's actually real estate investment trust. It's like buying shares for the companies that invest in real estate, and then you're entitled to getting some cash out of your money. And by the way, for your case, rates, I think the minimum you need to start with is around 700 Kenyan shillings. 700 Kenyan shillings, that's like $5. And the shares, again, you can even start with way less than that. Even in Kenya, with just 250 Kenyan shillings, you can go to buy shares. Yeah, there's some of the company, like their shares is less than 2 shillings. Okay, so if less than that, then if you are to go by the rules of Nairobi Securities Exchange, they say you have to buy a minimum of at least 100. Then it means that you ought need like less than 250 Kenyan shillings, and you bought yourself some shares out there. So shares and rates, those are areas where you can be able to invest if you are mid-range, you know, sort of an investor. You're just you have some nitty-gritties as far as the investments are concerned, you know, some things here and there, and again, then you can be able to pick shares and such kind of a thing. Okay, now another thing on a mid-range, then you have to understand what exactly you're getting yourself into. And by the way, if you're watching this from Kenya, you can pick my booklets. I do have booklets about shares, it goes for 280. You have booklets about rates, it goes for 280. It has all the information. And by the way, even the previous investments about circles and also MMF, I have all those booklets, goes for only 280. You can pick that number of mine from the description, then you can get that information and be able to invest. Now that wasn't the point. The point is, this is an area where you can be able to pick it up as a mid-range investor, and then you can progress to the next level. You can either pick one, or you can pick two, or you can pick both of them. Okay, and if you're a mid-range investor, you can as well pick those ones for the from down there. You see, when I call you a mid-range, does not mean now you cannot be able to invest on MMF. No, you can. You can invest at any category that you are. It's like training to drive with a big car, so you can always drive the car that is below you. That's for sure, with regards to the sizes and all those kind of things. Okay, so that is exactly how it goes. Now we go to the last one, which is the sophisticated. Now these are guys who have the understanding of where they're investing. They know some nitty-gritties, and we call them the sophisticated investors. Sophisticated investors. Now these guys, you find they have already invested, they have been investing. Now they're exploring new areas where they can put up their money. Some of the areas where you can put up your money in this area, if you do have some money, some sort of knowledge, you can do it in index fund. Okay, you can do your investment in ETFs. ETFs, you can invest on the ETFs. The other areas where you can be able to invest your money is something like T-bills and T-bonds. T-bills and bonds, you can be able to invest your money in these areas. So those are just but examples of the areas where you can be able to invest your cash. If you are a sophisticated investor, you already know it's not the first time that you're getting introduced to investments and all those kind of things. So you can pick your index fund. And I said index fund is like investing in a collective number of companies instead of investing in one. It's like investing in EPL. I love giving that example. It's like investing in EPL instead of investing in one, team in that simple EPL. Another thing, ETFs as well. And then you can be able to invest on T-bills, T-bonds. And I bet each and every country, they have these T-bills and the T-bonds. T-bills and the T-bonds is actually a way of government acquiring the local currency of that given country. And then therefore they pay the interest. In Kenya right now, we are talking about bonds. Right now, they are ranging up to 17.927 or something of sort. That's like in the case of the IFB, that's the infrastructure bond. And then we do have another FXD. Then the NFXD, this is a fixed deposit bonds. This one are ranging around 16 point something percent. And then we have the T-bills. T-bills is ranging from 15.3, 15.8, around there. So it's quite a good amount of money. And by the way, this one for 17.9 is actually tax free. Okay, this kind of reflects back to the video that I made. I told you guys, hey, these are the areas where you can invest and be able to evade the taxes in a legal way. So this is a good amount of money that you can get out there, 17.9. And by the way, this is good thing. This is a good thing whenever it comes to investing in a developing country. In a developing country, actually, they usually give quite a bigger rates in terms of the returns, because they're looking money. See, IFBs is an infrastructure bond. They're looking money to build roads and what have you. And therefore, for example, if you go to, sort of like United States, the developed world and what have you, some of those rates actually, I bet they are below 10%. Okay, and here we are talking about 17.9%. It's quite an impressive. It's an area where you can be able to, even the MMF and all those kind of areas, like MMF in like some of the countries, you find the developed countries, you find like it's, if it hits 10%, that's news to celebrate. In Kenya, we are talking about 13% and above. So that's quite impressive. Anyway, those are the areas where you can be able to make money work for you in 2024. But again, don't forget this. All the things that I've actually classified them, like the beginner, the mid-range, and also the sophisticated, does not mean that you can't jump all the way from beginner to these areas. You can be able to do so, provided you get the information that is required. That's why I always say, hey, if you want to invest on treasury bills and bonds, I have the booklets about those in areas where you can be able to invest, okay? So you can be able to pick any copy, be able to invest in each area that you would like to invest out there. Another thing that I would like you to part ways with, perhaps this is like the end point of the video, you're supposed to do something called diversification, okay? Or all the time, make sure that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Try to diversify in terms of your investment. Have some money that is put towards, treasury bills, have some money in the index funds, have some money in rates, have some money in all those areas. You don't like put everything in one basket. That way you actually, sort of spread your risk, because you never know. These are investments, and when it comes to investments, you have to have the understanding of anything can happen out there. And the only way we can be able to, if not eradicate, to minimize the risks and losses and such, is by diversifying and being out there as far as the investments are concerned. So what's my parting shot? My parting shot is 2024, pick it up. Don't like have a lot of things that you're looking forward into starting, and then by the time you are clocking the second month, you've forgotten what you said you're gonna do, you're confused in between and all those kind of things. So it is good to make sure that at least pick one thing or two, work on it, and then progress to the next level. For example, you can challenge yourself to say, hey, this guy has been talking about shares, this guy has been talking about conventional business, this guy has been talking about X or Y. Pick one, move with it, and that's how we progress to the next level, rather than complicating things, saying I'm gonna do this, you do nothing, and all those kind of things. All right, so anyway, that marks the end of my video, but not the end of me posting a video each and every day. So if you don't want to miss any of my good videos, make sure that you hit that subscription button, is in black, and also like the video. Comment down below, tell me what you think. And by the way, what else do you think is a good area where one can invest and be able to make some cash as we progress to the next level? For now, say goodbye, see ya, thanks.